Honestly, when I have this conversation with people, I always have to remind them I am a black woman. So anytime that I'm in America, I already feel unsafe. I feel less unsafe when I am out of the country than I do when I'm in America. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Romani. I'm pretty sure that it sounds a little bit staticky in the background, but that is because I am sitting next to a pool. But I really like this background, so we're just gonna go with it, and I hope you can hear me. Right now, I'm in Tamarindo, Costa Rica. I've been here for about a week, and then before that, I spent 2 months in the Alajuela province of Costa Rica. So I've been solo traveling for almost 3 months now. When people find out I'm a solo traveler, they always commend me, and they're like, you know, I could never do that. I don't know how you're not scared. I would be so fearful. They just think that they could never solo travel. And while I do appreciate the ego boost, I do want to let you know that there is no difference from me or anybody else. You know, I'm not different from any other person just because I decided that I wanted to become a solo traveler. So today I really want to talk about how I find the strength to solo travel and what keeps me going, what eliminates any fear or any doubts that I might have, just in case you want to solo travel and you need that motivation or you need to see somebody else doing it so that you can get that push to do it yourself. So this actually is not my first time solo traveling, but it is my first time internationally solo traveling. I am from Detroit, Michigan, and then I moved to Tennessee, and then I moved to Los Angeles, and then I moved to Costa Rica. So it's not like I just left my hometown and just up and moved to Costa Rica. That is why I tell people I'm not scared, because I've moved before. You know, I was already used to having to make new friends. I was already used to being in unfamiliar environments and having to adapt and having to learn new things. So this solo travel journey to Costa Rica was no different than when I moved to Tennessee or when I moved to LA, especially when I moved to LA, because when I moved to Tennessee it was for college, so I was around other people who also were new to the environment. But when I moved to LA, you know, people are from there and you just kind of have to adapt, and LA is such a big city. So moving to LA really shaped my perception of traveling alone, and it showed me that I'm able to do this, because honestly they say if you can make it in LA, you can make it anywhere. And I moved to LA when I was 22 and I'm 25, so I was there for 3 years. And I learned so much, and it taught me not to be afraid, because you can do this. You can learn new ways of life. You can meet new people, and it might seem scary at first, but you just have to put yourself in the environment in order to know that it's possible for you. But I say that to say I was not new to having to be in different environments and meet new people. So that's the same thing that I have to do in Costa Rica. Yes, it's a little bit further from America and from where I'm initially from, which is Detroit, Michigan, but the sentiment is the same. There's new people, it's new places, you're not used to it, and you have to get used to it. Honestly, when I have this conversation with people, I always have to remind them I am a black woman. So anytime that I'm in America, I already feel unsafe. I feel less unsafe when I am out of the country than I do when I'm in America. And when I tell people from here that, like, if we're just having conversations, they're like, I can't believe you don't feel safe in your own country. And it's not that I don't feel safe, but anything could happen to you as a black woman, as a black person in America, and nobody would care. I feel like at least it's just a little bit safer in other countries, especially because other countries have different laws, especially for firearms. I don't think anybody is allowed to have a firearm in Costa Rica, so that makes me feel safe. I'm sorry, I'm sweating so much. It's so hot. I don't have to worry about going into the supermarket and maybe not coming back out. You know, those are the things that I think about. I know that people watch movies like Taken and they're like, oh, you could get sold into sex trafficking. America has some of the biggest sex trafficking rings in the world, especially Michigan. If you're from Michigan, then you know that Novi is a hub for sex trafficking. So it's not like, oh, you leave the country and bad things happen. No, bad things are always happening all around you. Now, the difference is when I'm out of the country, my family may not be able to get to me as quick, which is like, you know, that's I don't know what word I'm trying to say, but that's like a downfall of, or like a con, I guess. Like that's like a con of solo traveling. If something does happen to me, my family has to catch a few flights to get to me. But honestly, I would think something would happen to me more in America than I would in Costa Rica. And the lifestyle is just different here. People, their mindset is different here, so it's not a lot of crime. Like, yes, there's gonna be crime everywhere, but it's not so much crime like it is in America, because they just have a different way of living to where it makes them more mentally stable and just sound like they are truly in their body. And I feel like in America, everybody is doing things to escape their body and escape their mind. We have the drugs, we have the drinking, which is not bad, you know. Well, it depends on who you ask, but in America, we just have so many things that try to take us away from ourselves. And in Costa Rica, I feel like everybody, they could be super poor and they're still happy, just because first of all, they're around nature 24/7, and this just changes you. In America, we are around skyscrapers and buildings and cars, and they have those things here. Well, not really skyscrapers where I'm at, but they have cars and stuff, but it's just different because it's not a lot of factories and machines and stuff around. Like, as you can see, I'm literally around trees all day, and I think that that just changes the people, so I don't feel unsafe when I'm in Costa Rica. And if you're new here, I am in Costa Rica not just as a traveler, but I'm a traveling yoga instructor. So whenever I am traveling somewhere, it's because I'm working and they are giving me somewhere to stay. So I've never had to, this bird is going crazy up there. I've never had to, you know, book my own Airbnb and figure out if the area was safe enough for me to have an Airbnb there. Like, I always came into the situation knowing that I have a place, and it's usually on a resort, or right now I'm teaching at an eco lodge, and so like there's always an owner here. You know, it's always kind of like, well, this one isn't really closed off to the community, but this is not an unsafe area. But I'm trying to say, I never really have to think about my own living arrangements because it's usually always taken care of for me. So I always feel safe, even though right now I'm living in a cabin on the eco lodge. It's like a ton of cabins on the eco lodge, so I'm only maybe like 15 feet away from the next cabin, so I'm never truly alone. Like, I'm solo traveling, but there are still people around me that I feel safe around. But at the end of the day, I just have a best case scenario mindset. If you know me, then you know I am always thinking the best case scenario. I don't let negative thoughts, you know, enter my mind, and if they do enter my mind, I don't allow them to stifle me. And I also don't let people project onto me, because when you are a solo traveler, people are going to be fearful, because majority of the people have never taken a trip, let alone ate a meal at a restaurant by themselves. So they are intrigued about how you're able to do that, but they also want to keep you safe. So a lot of people are going to project fears that they have in their heads onto you, and some of these fears were projected onto them because, like I said, most people have not solo traveled, so they're listening to what other people are saying. And I just don't let that get to me, especially from elders who maybe have grown up in a different time, and they're like, you know, are you going to be safe? You're going to be kidnapped. I literally had a woman at the last resort tell me, you're gonna be sold into sex trafficking. I don't know how she said it, but it was just like, no, the fuck I'm not. Like, why would you even say that? And, you know, people just say shit that comes to their mind, and they just be talking out the side of their neck sometimes, so I don't let it get to me. You know, I go on these trips expecting to have an amazing time, expecting to be safe, and since I expect that, I don't really have any issues. I'm not saying that things won't happen, but I don't go into it with a, oh my God, am I gonna be okay? No, I just go into it like I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna have a great time. And I know that my mental shapes my reality. And, you know, other people may think differently, but I know that what I think comes true. So if I think I'm gonna have an amazing time, things are always working out for me, you know, I live in an abundant reality, then that's what happens for me. And I also pray multiple times a day. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I could be eating, I could be making my bed, and I'm like, thank you, God, please allow me to have an amazing day, allow me to have a safe day. And I just constantly speak life over myself. And like I said, I just don't let other people project their insecurities or their fears onto me, because the more that you listen to people who, one, have never done what you're doing, but the more that you listen to people who, you know, speak fear into you, you're going to develop that mindset into everything that you do. And I just cannot afford to be a scary person with the life that I'm living and the purpose that I have as a yoga instructor and a wellness instructor, and I'm teaching meditation, and I'm also a doula. I can't afford to show up in the world being scary. I have to speak life into other people, so quite naturally I need to speak life into myself. I truly feel like the weight of the world, but you know, not really, but you know, the weight of having students and having people who look up to me. I have to make sure I'm okay. If I'm scared and I speak that into them, then they're going to be scared, and then it's just a cycle of scary shit happening, and not on my watch. You know, I really listen to my instincts, my gut instincts, my intuition, and I really just listen to how I feel. If I'm scared, or not even scared, but if I feel like I shouldn't be somewhere or I shouldn't do it, I don't do it. But if I feel like this is the right thing for me, I do it regardless of what anybody says. I don't allow other people to make decisions for me. I make decisions for myself. So if you really want to solo travel, just remember to listen to yourself. And you may not be able to hear your thoughts at first, but just give it some time and try to block out all of the noise, all of the naysayers, all of the people who are sending you articles about people, you know, people getting eaten by lions. Like, block out all of the noise and really think about what you want to do. And then if you're scared, I really want you to think about, why are you scared? Like, what exactly is making you scared? Let's say you think, okay, why am I scared? And you're like, I could be eaten by a lion. I want you to ask yourself, where did that thought come from? I want you to think, where did that thought come from? Did your grandma say something like that? Did your aunt say something like that? Because that's probably not you. Like, you're probably not just thinking about getting eaten by lions. You know what I mean? Like, really think about where these fears and these thoughts and these insecurities are coming from. If you want to see my solo travel journey, I vlog all the time. So I have so many vlogs, and I have videos about how to stay safe when you're solo traveling. So I'm going to link everything down below, and I'm going to link my social medias and everything. Please make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe for more videos like this. And if you have any questions, I want you to leave them down below in the comment section, girl. Leave them down in the comment section. And I will see you in my next video.